Hi everyone, the visa bulletin for February 2025 is out, and in this video we're going to talk all about it. My name is Oscar, and as you know, I'm a scientist, not a lawyer. And in this channel, we talk about EB1A, EB2NAW, green cards, where you can be the owner of your own future because you can do this without a job offer, a company sponsoring you, and also you can do it without hiring a lawyer, saving thousands of dollars. And that's why we have this channel, our channel in Spanish, all our websites, and all our courses to show you how to do that by yourself. But today, we're going to focus on a very important topic, which is the Visa Bulletin, that monthly publication in which USCIS and the State Department tell us what is the estimated wait time to get that green card. I mean, that's not really the point of it. The point of it is to tell us if we can finally get the green card or not. But from how it is moving, we can infer what is going on with that line of people waiting for the green card, the famous backlog. So how can you get this information? You Google Visa Bulletin and you click on usually the first result, and you should get to a website like this, a blue website that of course will always end with .gov. That tells you it is official. And on the left side, you will have the current Visa Bulletin. Right now, this is for January 2025. And once they update it, at some point during the month, today is the 13th of January, we will get the upcoming Visa Bulletin on the right side, and that is right now February 2025. So what I do in these videos, I compare what is happening in those 2 months, current versus the following one, so we can see how things are moving, if they are moving at all. I don't have great news because the summary of this video is that things are really stuck. They continue to get stuck. We're going to see it in a second. It's going to be a short video because of that. And I'm going to touch on an important thing that could happen this month or the following one or the next one. And I will tell you how you can check for that. All right, so let's start from the beginning. We know the website. Now what I do is I open each of these in 2 different tabs so we can compare easily. I'm only going through employment-based classes because EB1A, EB2NAW, they belong to employment. So if you are interested in family, I'm sure there are other channels that will cover that. Even if you are interested in EB3, EB4, and all those, I also don't touch on those very often. So I have January here, I am in table A, and I have February here, also in table A. So what is table A? Table A is the most important table because it really dictates if there is a visa number available to you. That means that you can finish the overall process. You can go to the interview, and if you get approved, you will get the so desired green card. Then we have table B. We're going to cover that in a second because this month important things could happen for table B. But let's focus on table A first. So in January, first month of the second quarter, we had a letter C for EB1. C means current. That is the best scenario for applicants. It means there is no wait time whatsoever. You could even file an I-140 petition and an adjustment of status if you're in the US at the same time, okay? So most countries except for China and India were in that situation with a C. China applicants had a date of November 2022 and Indians February 2022. That's for EB1. Let's see what happens in February. Well, in February, the situation is exactly the same. Rest of world, all the countries except India and China still have a C current, and then China and India, they both have that 2022 date, a little bit different from each other depending on the country, but it hasn't changed at all, okay? And that is not really good news when we don't see any change, unless we're talking about the letter C. If we don't see any change in the dates we see from one month to the other, things are getting stuck, things are not moving, and a neutral case would be a movement of 1 month, because 1 month has passed in real life. In the Visa Bulletin, we should also expect at least 1 month of movement forward. If we see the dates being stuck or the dates moving backwards, retrogression, that is not great news for applicants. And that is the situation for EB1, for India, and China. So let's take a look at EB2. In EB2 in January, we had most of countries with a date of April 1st, 2023. By the way, if we have that date, it means that in order to have a visa number available to you, your priority date should be earlier than this date. In this case, April 1st, 2023. What is the priority date? Is when you file your I-140. So in EB2NAW, EB1A, you file your I-140, that is your priority date. So if that date is earlier than this date, then you are in luck and you may be called for an interview and you may be given the green card. Then China had April 2020, India October 2012. Let's see what happens in February visa bulletin. Well, we see no changes for rest of world, April 2023, 1st of April 2023. So I'm sure this is going to be a bummer for a lot of you who are eagerly waiting for updates. Yes, the dates have not moved in February for EB2, which includes EB2NAW. And China still has April 2020, exactly the same date. And India has a slight movement of 15 dates from 1st of October 2012 to 15th of October 2012. That is not a major movement at all. And considering that India has a really depressing date of 2012 for EB2, 15 dates up or down will not make a huge difference for Indian nationals in EB2, which includes again EB2NAW. So overall, not great news for all these two categories. There's nothing we can do really other than continue monitoring the situation. And if we look at other categories, we see that EB3 has a similar situation and EB4 as well. I don't see major movements over there. What I see is certain religious workers becoming available again. So they used to be unavailable, now they are available, and not many more news going on. And by the way, this is the last visa bulletin that is published entirely by the current Biden administration, Biden-Harris administration, because remember that during this month of January, in January 20th, Donald Trump is going to be inaugurated. So the following month, when we see the March 2025 visa bulletin, that is going to be the first visa bulletin published under Trump's presidency. But of course, during that transition time, because part of this month is Biden, part of this month is Trump, should we see any big changes in that change of administration for the visa bulletin? I don't think we will see anything major going on, because at the end of the day, these agencies, they don't have a lot of say in how these things work. This comes from the law. So in order to see big movements or big changes in how these things are moving, then a law should be passed by Congress. Could we see that in the future? I discussed that in one of my recent videos about what I expect about this 2025 year. I think it's not super likely that we will see a major reform happening all of a sudden, but it's something to watch out for as we move into these new times of Donald Trump part 2, because he was already president once. So let's talk a little bit about Table B. Table B is also somewhat important. It is definitely more important for those of you who are in the United States hoping to file an adjustment of status, hoping to change your status from a non-immigrant visa to your green card status once you have that approval. And some months during the year, you can file your adjustment of status based on Table B, which is always more beneficial than Table A. So that is a very nice period of the year. That period goes from the beginning of the fiscal year, which is October, until sometime at the beginning of the natural year. It could be February, it could be March, it could be April. So for example, last year, I believe it was March when it changed from Table B to Table A, and the previous one was April. So could we see it in February right now in this visa bulletin? Yes, we could see that movement to Table A, which we don't want to see, okay? Because if we go from Table B to Table A, petitioners would be having to wait longer to file an adjustment of status. So let's take a look at what Table B says in February. So I scroll down to be in both of the months, and now we can compare. For EB1, the first row, we had a C. We have January 2023 for China and April 2022 for India. And we have exactly the same situation for February, so no change whatsoever in EB1. What about EB2? We had August 2023 for rest of world. We still have August 2023 for all countries except China and India. And we have in January, October 2020 for China, January 2013 for India, and exactly the same dates in the February visa bulletin. So if you can use table B still in February, there's no change whatsoever. The dates have become frozen and you basically are in the same situation. So if you could file an adjustment of status in January, you would be able to file it in February. So how do you know if they let you file an adjustment of status based on table B or if they are pushing you to table A? You have to click on this link that you see here right above table B. You click on it, they will give you a warning that you are exiting this website because you are getting into USCIS website. And here they announce what table the applicants must follow. For the current month, which is January, employment base had to use dates for filing, which is table B. And for next month, they still have not published what table you should use. They say, actually, while I was editing the video, they updated the website and we can now see that they filled out the next month information here. And for employment base, they are saying that you must use the final action dates. The final action dates is table A. So this is indeed bad news for adjustment of status applicants because it means that they no longer can use table B, which is more beneficial. So you have until the end of January, if you were current in table B, to file your adjustment of status. It is very important that you do it, that you don't wait until February, because in February, dates will go backwards because the dates in table A are less beneficial than those in table B. So adjustment of status applicants, pay attention because this situation of table B being used is not going to be repeated until we get into the new fiscal year in October 2025. So before we get into our typical graph where I monitor what is the situation historically with the visa bulletin to see how good or bad we are in terms of wait times, I want to introduce to you our new course, because we have a new course and it is an EB2NAW course. Of course, you can go to eb2naw.info. This is our website, and by the way, you have it in Spanish and Portuguese as well. Yeah, my face is covering the Brazilian flag, but we have both versions. And if you scroll down, you will find our two courses. We used to have, and we continue to have, our flagship course for EB2NAW. If you are willing to put a do-it-yourself petition, you can click on this course and we will walk you through everything you need to know, how to craft the documents, how to put together your professional business plan. You can submit questions and we have live sessions in that course. And now this week because we see a lot of RFEs in the last 6 months, we have put together this request for evidence, this RFE course for EB2NAW. It is dedicated for those of you who may not be in our EB2NAW course, who got an RFE and you want to understand how you should respond to this USCIS officer that is challenging your RFE. So click here and access the website where we tell you all about the course and what is included, okay? And of course, we continue to have resources for EB1 as well. You can go to eb1greencard.info and we have tons of resources and also a dedicated course for EB1A applicants. And let's finish this video, this visa bulletin update, with our typical tracking of what has been happening, especially in EB2, in the EB2 category, in the visa bulletin, so you can understand the historical perspective of this. So I monitor these numbers since 2022 because at the beginning of 2022 there was no wait time in the visa bulletin, and recently we have been seeing the wait time increasing. And this is in each particular month, the number of months to be current based on table A. And you see how in the beginning of 2023, the situation got really worse very quickly. And then it got pretty stable until we got to summer 2024, about half a year ago. And since then, the situation has been deteriorating pretty fast, pretty steadily. Not fast, but steadily. And we are now at a historic wait time of 22 months. How could this situation change for EB2? And this is EB2 rest of world, of course. China and India have a way worse situation. How this situation could change? Well, there are two conditions for this to be improved, which is what we all want to see. Number one is that the demand of applicants really goes down. If less people file petitions, less people get approved, then of course less people will be filing for adjustment of status and consular processing. So eventually we will see the visa bulletin going a little bit back on track. However, I think this is unlikely because we continuously see, if not higher demand, very high demands. So it's not going down significantly, at least yet. We will have to keep an eye on it. And number two, the other way that things could get better is if the new Congress that was elected recently, they have some sort of positive change on this system. If, for example, they increase the number of green cards that they are willing to give in employment-based categories, we're talking about 140,000 approximately green cards per year. If they decide they will issue, for example, double that, then we should immediately see a relief in the visa bulletin, because the number of people that are waiting, now they have access to more visa numbers, and that would be cutting down the wait times. Is that likely to happen? I don't think so, but with what is happening with Donald Trump and Elon Musk and all these fights in the Republican Party talking about legal immigration, we could be surprised. I could be surprised because I did not expect it at all. And maybe there is a small chance that something good could happen. I'm not very optimistic, but I always keep an open mind. And of course, I will come back here to report the reality, to report the facts, what is happening, what is likely to happen. We will talk about it here in this channel. And as usual, I want to say good luck to you. Thank you for being here, for subscribing, for sharing the videos, and I will see you in the next one.